And all right, so the first thing that we get started with, the very first um, supplement, you can call it that, is berberine. And I also included dihydroberberine, which I will go into. And I went ahead and put the first one as the best one, my absolute favorite. I know some people like to have the build up, but I wanted to go ahead and share this one as the very first one. This one is uh, so good, so good. It's a top anti-aging tool. It's probably my top three. I've personally used it for different. Yeah, I've personally used it on and off. I cycle with it, and it's a glucose disposal agent. And simply put, if we want to decode that, what that means is that it's just going to decrease blood levels through nutrient partitioning. So simply put, it's going to think of the process of pushing and sending more glucose into the muscle more efficiently. So it's not just hanging out in the bloodstream, but it's now being pushed and shuttled out into the muscles. And this is going through a process called AMPK. AMPK is simply activated protein kinase. Think of this as your energy sensor, and that's probably all you need to know that. But AMPK is a key longevity tool as well, and you'll see this come up again later in another one of these points. Now, berberine is not actually a herb, but it's actually a very bitter compound that's taken from roots and stems of plants, such as the. I actually had to look this up, and it's called the golden seal and the philodendron. So I didn't know that. It's used a lot also in Chinese and Ayurvedic medicine. So it's been around for a long time. And a couple other things. It's comparable to metformin. Now, this is why, like I said at the very beginning, you got to talk to your doctor and all these things, because the body's a system and there's complexity involved, and you have to make sure it makes sense to you. But for a guy like myself, I was thinking, should I go get a prescription for metformin, or should I just look into berberine? And for me, in that situation, it made sense to use berberine. And for you, maybe it makes sense, but this is just to put it on your radar and to go seek consult with anyone, with someone that can help you make a better decision, depending on the stage of development that you're in. But I think for most people, this is a very helpful tool, because as we get older, our insulin sensitivity starts to go down as we age in general. So this is just going to help us with that. Now, it can also help with cholesterol, help with blood pressure. It's going to improve our telomere length, which is another one of those hallmarks of aging. And it's going to improve our mitochondrial functioning. Mitochondrial is critical. I will harp on that all the time. And one of the studies here, this is from the Journal of Ethnopharmacology. And so in this study here, I'll give you a nice summary. 27 studies in people with type 2 diabetes. They took berberine and they combined it with diet and lifestyle. And that reduced fasting blood sugar by 15.5 milligrams per deciliter and A1C by 0.71% compared to the placebo, or compared to just diet and lifestyle alone. So that's pretty powerful. And so even if you don't have type 2 or anything like that, even if you just wanted to optimize your metabolic health, optimize the blood sugar, this is a pretty powerful tool. If it's helping that, think about what it can help with that, with you without it. And I could say for me, it went down. I would probably say my HEMA1C went down a couple notches. It went down a couple notches to where I want it to be. And then I reduced my fasting insulin as well. But this is N of 1. And so we have to just see how we specifically respond to that. So once again, keep that in mind. Now, I mentioned dihydroberberine, and it's 4 times more effective than berberine. And there's a couple of different reasons for that. So for those that are not watching this but are listening through the podcast, I will explain the process of why. So when we have berberine, you ingest it, it actually gets converted to dihydroberberine by our gut bacteria. But then that dihydroberberine is then oxidized back to berberine after the intestinal absorption. So when you have dihydroberberine, you're essentially eliminating a step, the rate limiting step from the microbial reduction. And it's 5 times more absorbable and 2 times longer lasting. So when you're taking dihydroberberine, what I had to do was you split your doses up, but it has a short half-life. So right before you eat a meal and everything, you take it, and then you take it later. And that's about 4 hours is, I think, the shelf life. Whereas the dihydro is 8 hours, and the dosage is going to be much lower. And also, sometimes people have reported, and when I went to do a little digging, a little reading, that some people have had potential GI issues from just the berberine, and that seems to not be the case with the dihydroberberine. So, and so the next thing is body composition goals. With the dihydroberberine and just the berberine in general, it's going to help with body composition goals, and this is why. And body composition is just weight loss, or just getting your body right in general. The reason why I was thinking about this, you are able to effectively, one of the key reasons why people start to have blood sugar issues, one of the things is obesity, overweight. You have excess fat. Fat is toxic on our bodies. I'm not sure that's politically correct to say now, but it is what it is. Having too much excess body fat is going to mess up these metabolic processes. And the dihydroberberine will help with that, because you are slowly but surely improving the blood sugar, which then means you're going to metabolize these, which means then that you're going to effectively be able to lose the body weight, or to not put it on per se, because your sugar is going where it needs to be, which is in the muscle, and not just swimming around in the bloodstream.